What is up, guys? Tech Asian back here again with a third Python video, and today is going to be the part 2 series to our variables, and we're going to be learning about strings, and not silly string, but strings. So what are strings anyway in the first place? Strings are going to be what you're going to refer to as like what variables are. So remember how we were setting numerical values to variables? Strings, you'd be setting text to it. So basically, we'll jump right in, we'll get started, and we'll figure it out as we go. So, let's create a new file. We're going to call it variables underscore 2.py is what we're going to call it. And remember, you can either left click to start a new file, or just click at the top where there's the new file from yesterday, as I've been doing it. So yeah, we're gonna get started. We're gonna just set some variables first. So like my name, you can assign a text value. So we're gonna name it Jeff, and then yeah, we're just gonna start going through setting our variables as numbers, which would be, remember, integer values from yesterday. And we can set it as strings in our case with those letters, and you can put what we're setting as text values. So yeah, let me know if you guys want to see me take some time to type, or if you just want me to cut it out and just speed through that section so you guys can quickly, so just to cut it down in length. But yeah, okay, moving on. After I'll do a cut this time around, so we'll cut it out, and yeah. Alright, and then now let's do some print values after we've set these variable values. So what we're gonna do is, remember how yesterday we did the name, and then you put comma my name, or you can put like different values at the back at the next side. So that works, but in today's way of doing it, so how we're gonna do it today is we're gonna set it up as %s or %d. So %s is gonna be a string versus %d is going to be a decimal value. And the way you do it is you're going to put %s, and then you're going to have to put %, and then you don't need that comma either, so you're going to put %s, and then you're going to put % right before the name, and then you're going to put %my underscore name, and then it should run the same way in this case. But what's the advantage of having %s and while, or just putting just a comma and then just having the variable follow? The thing is, you'll see later on when we try to put multiple variables and set it into each other, but like say we wanted gap or something, instead of just having to put quotations and ending the quotes every single time and then starting a new one to put the variables in, we won't need to. So here's an example of all the format characters you can use, and you have your like s's, so that's your string format. You also have %c, which is just using for singular characters, so like that would just be a letter. And we also have %f, which would be a floating point number. And then sometimes the capital and lowercase are interchangeable. In addition, there's the double % signs. So the double % is basically what creates that % symbol. Because remember how when we were doing yesterday, we would get the modulus sign. And if you put it inside the quotations, it would be that %s would show up. So in order to get that symbol to show up in the text when you print, you'd have to use %%. So %g, and then, so you have this %10.34, and so %g is going to lead to plugging that number directly into it, that numerical value. So you're going to have 10.34, and then the percent would display that percent sign. So it's pretty simple. There's other values here that we're going to use %d a lot in today's lesson. And you also have your exponential forms, which you got your % uppercase E and % lowercase e, and that basically just determines whether or not you get the which one you want displayed. So yeah, it's pretty simple. We don't have to remember all of these signs, but it is helpful later on. So I'd say just take it. We'll probably use these format characters enough that you'll remember it later on as we go. But yeah, so like going back to what I was saying about how we can use percent in between sentences, like in the middle of a sentence, and not have to worry about how it's displayed. And also, in order to get the two of them displayed in there, so so we're gonna have %d. So we can hold two values basically in that sentence. So we're gonna input two values, and how am I gonna set this variables up? This probably isn't gonna work, but we'll give it a try. So comma, we're gonna do comma my age, and then comma my height, and we'll see if this works. Let's see. Let's start debugging right now. And as you can see, it doesn't work. So, oh wait, yeah, you're supposed to have the percent signs. Okay, so let's add the percent sign, and then comma that. With also, remember, don't forget your parentheses on the outside. So if it's multiple variables, you're gonna have to group them within parentheses. So yeah, so let me get rid of this error. You do that by clicking the pause play sign at the top of with the debug thing that shows up, and then yeah, so now it prints out the correct value. So you're gonna have to do the parentheses. You're gonna have to do the percent sign, and then the inside the parentheses, or close parentheses, open parentheses, close parentheses, and then inside there you're gonna do whatever you want the first one to be, the second one to be, and you can obviously set multiple variables. It doesn't just have to be just two different variables. You can also do math operators. So we can jump into that right now. Excuse me. So we're gonna do print. These sentences are gonna make exact sense. It's just I just want to just give an example and keep this video short. But we're just gonna set values. So we're gonna do %d, %s, %d, and yeah. So we're gonna get this to work. So you also remember I was talking about math operators. So just like before, we can set each one of those as a string or as an integer. And if you want to figure out whether it's going to be a string or an integer right away, or a decimal value you can set it as, just hover over the name and it'll just say str or int. And str is obviously a string, and int is basically an integer, which you would use %d for. And then you use %f as a floating number. Remember how I was talking about those format characters from before? So yeah, we're just going to set these values in there. And then remember the math operators? So you can actually do addition right in there. So you just set it as addition, and yeah, so it's pretty simple. The Python obviously does the calculation for you, so it shouldn't be too difficult either. But yeah, let's run this thing and see if it works. And yeah, if you take a look at the output, the third line, it says if 17 Jeff 199 black. So right there, that 199, you can see that is the addition of using my height and my weight, and it adds that together for you. So that just displays and confirms that that's how you're going to do it. You can do addition with your variables if you need to. And the benefit of using this format is that you can place it anywhere within that print string, and it will do it in sequential order. So yeah, pretty simple stuff for today. Explore some more if you really want to, and yeah, that's all for today. We'll come back for another section of variables tomorrow, and see you next time. Peace.